Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Sonia. How you doing? Good morning, Sonia. Good morning, everybody. This morning, I want to welcome everybody. This is the first live broadcast of Blacks in Law Enforcement Unplugged. And I wanted to do it. I wanted to invite my sister Cariol on because I think it's fitting because we had a conversation um, a while back when black law enforcement come out and talk about what's going on and put their lives on the line and against racism, bigotry, sexism, and corruption in their police department. Why do we do not get the support of the Black community, and why we do not get support of Black politicians and Black pastors and these Black organizations? We always hear activists and police reform activists, and a lot of them I have a lot of respect for, and I am friends with, and I work close, but I do not see a lot of them speak out in support of officers that stop police criminality. They say that, they want to blame the blue wall of silence, but with Black officers, we know the blue wall of silence is not for us. One, and the fact that we are the first ones and usually the only ones that come out and speak about the corruption and what's going on within the police departments to these organizations. So I wanted to invite my sister Carrie on the show because I think what she did, she is an unsung hero in law enforcement. She actually stopped a white officer from choking to death a Black man in cuffs. He could have easily been another Eric Gardner,
And
but
that was before Eric Gardner.
this was before Eric Gardner. Oh,
hmm
right. But check this out. She was on the scene and she stopped the act. Right. She didn't stand around like some Black officers did, even with Eric Gardner, and watch the white cops kill him. She stopped the act. So before we hear from my sister Carrie on, I got a little clip of the news clip, and I'm going to bring this in, and let's watch this.
Exclusive. Former Buffalo police officer Cariol Holman in a battle tonight to get her pension. She was fired for trying to stop a fellow officer she says was abusing a suspect. And tonight she is telling her side of the story to 7 Eyewitness News reporter Kendra Eaglin.
November 1st, 2006, there was a call of an officer in trouble at 707 Walden.
That officer, Gregory Kwiatkowski, who was responding to a domestic dispute inside of that home between Neil Mack and his girlfriend. When Officer Cariol Holman went into the house, she says Mack had already been placed under arrest.
He was handcuffed in the front, and he was sideways and being punched in the face by Gregory Kwiatkowski.
Horne and about 10 other officers who arrived at the scene helped drag Mack out of the home, but once outside, Horne says Officer Kwiatkowski was out of control.
Gregory Kwiatkowski turned Neil Mack around and started choking him. So then I'm like, Greg, you're choking him, because I thought whatever happened in the house he was still upset about. So when he didn't stop choking him, then I just grabbed his arm from around Neil Mack's neck.
If that chokehold of a handcuffed suspect caught Horne off guard, it didn't prepare her for what she says Kwiatkowski did next.
He comes up and punches me in the face, and so I had to have my bridge replaced.
Horne says other officers pulled her back when she tried to defend herself. Following that incident, Horne was fired, charged with obstruction for jumping on Officer Kwiatkowski's back and
That's the story in a nutshell. But Caroline, in your own words, tell the people that have been listening the situation and what happened just we want to go over the situation, but I also want to get into um, the charges. So let's start with the situation first. Just recap on the story for us, please.
Okay, so like it started off, like the news clip started off, he was choking. Well, first of all, there was an incident inside the house and outside. Inside the house is where he was. The suspect was already handcuffed. He was cuffed in the front, but he was handcuffed, and he was being punched in the face. I had just came in, so I didn't know what happened. Basically, I helped get him out of the house, and once we got outside, we started going. Me and other officers started going to our patrol vehicles, and Gregory Kwiatkowski was in front of me with the suspect, and he just started choking him. So when he started doing that, like I said, I thought he was upset from what happened in the house prior to me getting there. So I stopped him from choking him. Well, I yelled to him, like, Greg, you're choking him, thinking maybe he'll come
Right.
out of being so angry. And he didn't. So I just grabbed his arm. That was the only contact I had with him, was to grab his arm from around Neil Mack's neck. So at that point, that's when he punched me in the face. And then that's when, I went to defend myself, but two officers came between us, and two officers pulled me back. And, they tore my rotator cuff. So the police department said that I caused my own injury.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what let me ask you a question. What was the union's response um when you went to them with the situation? What was their response for you?
Well, I asked how could the attorney that was representing me, who was the union's attorney, how could he represent me and represent the officers who were speaking out against me, who were basically lying? And they said, well, that's how it goes. That's the normal process.
Really?
hmm But because if I didn't like the outcome, then I would sue them. So they decided they would pull out. So they left me without an attorney.
Really, they should have gave you a conflict counsel.
They,
Um, you're right.
they
They didn't give you, so they walk. And was you still paying dues?
yes, and they gave me 2 hours to find an attorney, which of course I didn't find an attorney. There was another police officer, Annette Parker, who was in the hallway, and I asked her to come in so that way they couldn't do anything or say anything without there being another witness there. And so she wound up being my attorney and questioning the officer, and she did a real good job because she caught him in lies. But then they gave me 2 days after that to find an attorney, which is when I got the attorney.
They gave you so they gave you 2 days. Did we have a question from Sonia Wiggins Pruitt, who is the chairwoman. I'm sorry, chairwoman of the National Black Police Association. She asked, "Did you sue the union?"
I tried to sue the union. I went after the police department. I lost everything because, as we know, they all work together.
Hmm.
So, every avenue that I went, I lost.
Hmm.
And that officer, went to jail this year.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that officer, but I wanted you to come on because I wanted people to see firsthand of the struggle and what we go through as Black law enforcement officers. Um, because of the fact that you did the right thing. You know, just like
Mhm.
many officers, and Cariol, you need to be commended. You know, for doing for doing the right thing. Um, and I think that as Sonia Pruitt's on, and I think a lot of other people that are watching, we need to understand in 2020 and moving forward, we can't allow any more tragedies like yours, and we need to still help you work on getting your pension, because I think is you should get you're deserving of your pension, and you should get it. Now, what ended up happening to Officer whatever called Kiyokowski,
Wyakowski.
whatever happened to him?
Well, like that clip that you showed, he basically punched another officer that was on duty, um, fought another officer that was off duty. He got a DUI. Um, then there was a case where he was the supervisor, and as a supervisor, he had two other officers, and he basically testified and was federally charged with violating the rights of those young men. So that's what he went to jail for. But he continued to do different things, even in the capacity as a lieutenant, as a supervisor, and they still kept him on, you know, up until that point.
And
Then
even
they allowed him to retire.
right, and even with him being found guilty, right? Did he plead guilty or he was found guilty?
He pled guilty because he knew he was facing a lot of time if he didn't. So he pled guilty, and supposedly was going to testify against the other two officers. The other two officers, they got off.
Mm.
Um, I don't see how his testimony um, was any good anyway. I didn't believe that. Well, he basically took the blame, which he should have, because
Right,
had he not been there, the situation probably wouldn't have happened. So hopefully, those other two officers learned from that experience.
exactly. So where are you now? Um, in the fight and to get your pension. And everybody that's watching, I posted the link for the signature. So please, everybody that's watching, please share the link. Let's get as many signatures as possible. The first petition, um, Cariol got over 200,000. My goal is to match that. Let's match that. Please share so we could see what we could do and get the state controller to make a decision. So where are you at right now, Cariol?
Well, as far as the pension, I saw the mayor at a Christmas party about actually it was a week ago today, last week, and I asked like, can I get my pension now? And he's like, well, you didn't listen to the advice that I gave you. And I said, well, you didn't listen to me when I told you the truth. I said, now that this officer has gone to jail, you can see that I was telling the truth. And he's like, well, there's nothing that I can do. So I put up a stat basically saying, that the mayor, that I asked the mayor about my pension, and he said, hell to the nah, to the nah, nah, nah,
Right.
which I thought was like funny, but at the same time, it's not funny when you have bills and everything. And I actually just applied for another trucking job and didn't get the job because there was an officer here who gave me a ticket for passing a stop sign, and that prevented me from getting the job. So now I feel like I'm stuck, here. Um, you know, like another job gone because of the Buffalo Police Department.
Right.
When
Right.
will it stop?
And Buffalo is basically a black city, right? It's a black mayor.
We got a black mayor, a black police commissioner, That was the one that fired me, the commissioner that's in.
Black police commissioner. Sonia, I hope you still. I hope you still. We're gonna have to really offline. I think people are listening. See, this is the problem with Black people. This sister did what's right, and Black politicians punished her for protecting a Black man against from a white officer. And what's the mayor's name?
Mayor Byron Brown and Commissioner Byron Lockwood, the two Byron.
Mayor Byron Brown and Commissioner Byron Lockwood.
Lock.
Mayor Mayor Byron Brown and Commissioner Byron Lockwood, Sonia. Those are the people that we 2020 are going to have a talk with. And even if we got to go up to Buffalo, I think it's going to be a good idea one day to go up to Buffalo
Great idea.
and have a talk with the commissioner and request a talk with the commissioner. And I think Sonia, I know you're still watching. We was talking about that little squad. I think this might be one of the issues that the squad needs to drop in on Buffalo and handle in 2020. She said, okay, that's right. This is what we're talking about. Let me in your process, did you hear from any NAACP, Urban League?
The NAACP here was basically part of. I mean, I understand that, as a Black man, he wanted to come in and he wanted to get his people in. All of that is appreciated. But the thing about it is, I can see good and everything. Like, everybody wants to say, oh, well, he's giving up jobs and this and that. Yes, he did. He did give up jobs, but he also took jobs too. And mine was one that should not have been taken. Had I done something wrong, then, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, but I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And the culture needs to change. And, with you being in law enforcement, sorry about that. I thought I could figure out. You being in law enforcement, you understand, the culture. You understand why officers don't speak up. I can't expect officers to speak up, especially officers who are on the job, because they will end up, like I am. They will end up, of course, oh my God, I don't know why she would keep calling me back. But anyway, well, you understand the culture.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to I wanted to stop with me. I don't want anybody else to have to go through this because they chose to do the right thing. So when you talk about the squad, I want to be the leader of the pack.
Yeah.
Because I already lost everything, so there's no need for everybody else to lose. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, part of the problem is that we do not speak up when we need to. I mean,
But you can't.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
No, what I mean is when I say you can't, you don't have any protections.
No, right. But we are our protection. See, our unity is our protection.
Right. But I
I
didn't have that.
yeah, well,
we were weak when it came to that. It wasn't like I didn't have people that were with me, but now, see, the mayor gave them jobs, so now they're quiet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But what is the racial makeup of the Buffalo Police Department?
Actually, I don't exactly know right now, but there are a lot more Blacks than there used to be.
When you was there, what was the racial makeup?
I would say, I don't know. If I can guess, I would probably say like 40%.
40.
Because that's just my guess. But
right. But all right, let's just say 30. Let's just say 30%, right? And out of that 30%, 70 of that 30% was black men, right? Right? They should.
I'm sorry, I'd
Well,
rather have
this
more
I'm just giving a. They should be damn near ashamed of themselves, totally ashamed of themselves to let a white officer punch a black female in the face. Period. And I hope anybody that's in Buffalo that you shared on the page, and anybody that sees this, that's a Buffalo cop that worked with you, and if it's a black male, you are a complete sucker. I said it. You can
Mhm.
text me. You could come on my page. You can email me. To allow a black woman to be punched in the face by a white man, and y'all black men on the job did not say anything, you are suckers. You are suckers, and you are slaves with a badge. And I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it, because that should have never have happened. It should never have happened. They should have been ashamed of themselves. Totally ashamed of themselves. So, you should have never lost your job, because the black men in them, the black men inside them should have triggered something and said, we gotta at least make sure this sister keep her job.
It was the black men who basically, when I say the black men, the black mayor, the black commissioner who made sure I didn't have a job.
It well, no, but if he got pressured from the body, and see,
I got you.
and yeah, and he should be ashamed of himself too. He just Uncle Tom, and there's no need to Uncle Tom when you got. I don't understand black politicians that Uncle Tom when there's no need to Uncle Tom, and they do it to our own people, but yet they kiss Whitey's behind all the time. I mean, they don't have to.
They let these white officers get away with a lot. There was one officer who like backhand a black dude who was in cuffs. Two white officers that sat there and let it happen. Nothing happened to them. Two white female officers, and the white officer got 30 days. And me, I had 20 years and 2 months. And they broke it down and said I only had 19 years, which is not true. From March 1st, 1988, which was actually February 29th because it was a leap year, 1988 to May 8th, 2008. How many years is that?
That's too fast.
88 to 08. 88 to 08. 20 years.
Yeah, but you should get. But I don't understand why you didn't get credit for those years that you had.
Well, I turned 55, but I'm 52 now, so I got 3 years to go.
Right. Oh, that's right. You got connect. That's right. You don't get it till you're 55.
Well, no, I mean, I would have gotten it, at 40 when I retired, but
Right.
they didn't allow me to retire.
So okay. So what's the process now? I know brother was telling me that they have petitioned the state controller to make a decision. And I hope next time we could follow up and he could come on the show. He could actually come on the show and to really discuss the legal part. And but what does the state control? What can the state controller do right now in getting you your pension? Not only getting you your pension, you should have been retired on 207C work injury
Mm.
because you tore your toe. You was assaulted by a police officer, and
They
you
wouldn't let me file charges either.
exactly.
They would not allow me to.
I mean, um, this really has to be discussed with the controller and maybe um, a politician to see what happens, because this is a total injustice, and somebody's going to have to respond to it sooner or later, because I think people are gonna. I hope people can call, and I wish I would have had the mayors and commissioner. Um, Hold on one second, everybody, because what I'm going to do. Um, So what I want people to do, do you know the number offhand?
What number?
The police department.
1 second. Well, you start with 716-851.
Hold on 1 second. What's the area code?
716
716
851
8551
4571.
4571. Commissioner
Byron Lockwood.
Lockwood. All right. Hold on, Buffalo Police Department. So I want everybody to call. It's right on the bottom. Please call Buffalo Police Department 716-851-4571. Commissioner Lockwood. Call him and voice your outrage that this black commissioner allowed this happen to this black female police officer, and so we can address this issue. I think it's something that needs to be done. Commissioner Lockwood is his name, of the Buffalo Police Department, and that's his number on the scroll. You can see it going across. Make sure you call and let them know our outrage that they allowed this to happen to our sister who stopped a white man from choking a black man in cuffs and was assaulted by the white officer. And they put some conniving acts together so she could lose her job. Everybody that's watching, and also in the I posted in the timeline, and I will post again in the timeline, that's the petition. I posted again the petition in the timeline, so people can be able to sign the petition and share this petition. Please share the petition, and please call Commissioner. I'm going to put it in the timeline. I'm going to put it in the timeline right now. Lockwood. Lockwood of the Buffalo PD. Voice your outrage. 716-851. See, this is how we're going to have to start doing things. 4571. Because we have to use our unity as power. We have to definitely use our unity power. And let me see. Hold on a second, Sonia. She want me to post the mayor's info too. You got the number to City Hall? You got the number to City Hall, Cariol?
851.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me get back on here. Mayor, what's his name?
Byron.
What's his last name?
Brown.
Can't forget that, Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Byron Brown, and his number is
716
716
851
851
4841.
4841. 4841.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please call these people. Call Mayor Byron Brown, Buffalo Mayor, Buffalo, New York Mayor Byron Brown, 716-851-4841, and call Buffalo PD Commissioner Lockwood, 716-851-4571, and voice your outrage that these black men, these punctified black men, allowed this sister to lose her job because she protected another black man from, I'm going to say, racist white cop that was choking a black man in cuffs. And he would have been Eric Garner before Eric Garner if it wasn't for this sister here stepping in and breaking the chokehold. And in the process, the white cop turning and assaulting Officer Horne and punching her in the face. And she lost her job for that. So this is an outrage, and it needs to be addressed. And it shows once again that unions are not for black officers. Unions are only good for collective bargaining and getting you a raise. But it's when it's protecting you from the racist system that it is, without a doubt, it's not going to protect you, even if you have black people a part of the union. Then it's not going to protect you. So we have to understand that. And I think moving forward, 2020, black officers are going to have to get their self together and get some type of legal defense, national legal defense fund
It's
to,
true.
to start protecting black officers when the union fails to protect them and want to play white supremacy politics within these different law enforcement departments. So
But then when you have the black men going with it, that's the problem.
exactly,
Because wrong is wrong, regardless of what color you are. But,
exactly.
even in Eric Gardner's case, Kizzy Adonis was charged with failing to stop.
Hmm.
I was charged with stopping, and they and we were like the only ones that got in trouble out of the whole case.
Exactly.
Case.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you was charged with stopping. Kizzy was charged with failing to stop because as a supervisor, she should have stopped it, right?
Right.
You was an officer and you stopped. You knew better to stop
Mm-hmm.
it, but they charged you to protect the white officers. She became a
Mm-hmm.
fall guy. She became a fall guy of the system, and it's unfortunate because she should have stopped it.
Right.
She
She
should
should
have
have.
did what right. She should have did what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
she didn't. But she didn't. But everybody gets. But see, black people, whether you do right or wrong, you still get charged. So it don't.
Right. Exactly. That's my point.
It don't matter. It don't
Mm-hmm.
matter. But I want to thank you for voicing your opinion, and I hope next time brother can come on and we could he could let people know like the legal aspects, the in and outs on how they basically violated your rights and and took an honorable job and twisted it against you, took an honorable act in what you did, and again, you should be commended. um I know everything that went on, Cariol, but don't hold your head low because you did the right thing. You did the right thing, and we all should commend you for that.
I
And
just don't want it to happen to someone else because
yes,
their officers literally getting away with murder. And here it is, because I stopped it, then I have to lose everything.
right,
And that's not right. And it's not right because, officers, if they do hear about my story, some of them are like, well, I don't want to be like that. So I'm just going to be quiet. You know what I mean? I
well,
don't want that
yeah,
to happen. I want them to have a network that they can go to.
Yeah, because well, that's that's the psychological warfare behind it, because they that's the psychological warfare behind it, because Ken just sent something too. He just texted something. Oh, oh man, he just let me see if I could bring this up. Ken just texted us. Let me see if I could let me see if I could bring it up real quick.
And then there was the people involved. The commissioner at the time was fired. The lawyer, the city's attorney, she was fired.
Mm-hmm.
There, Mikowski, he was a judge. He was suspended off the bench. Hevesy was in the state. He went to jail. It's like all of these people that were in office, or I have the list. I just don't. I should have had it with me right now so I can go down it. But um, and then Gregory Kwiatkowski, he received his pension, but he went to jail. There was another officer. She was fired. Um, Another one that I told you about, backhand a suspect. He only got three. He only got 30 days. Sorry, I said 30 days suspension for backhanding a handcuffed man. The officers that stood there and witnessed it, nothing happened. So it's like still a lot going on, and this is just from the Buffalo Police Department.
Right, right,
That's sort of like old news. It's like other stuff that happened all along that should have been dealt with in a different way, but they got off.
right. Well,
Some of them,
we gonna stay on it.
mm-hmm.
We gonna stay, and also, thank you, brother Ken, for for sending that info right up there. That's the New York State Controller that we should be calling. We should be calling also Mr. Thomas DiNapoli, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm gonna get ready to put his number in here, 518. I'm going to put his number up in here so we could I'm going to put his number up in here. Let me see if I can get it up in here. Trying to text it, 5084 74 4044. 518 474 4044. 4044. That's the New York State Comptroller. All right, put it in the group. Also, put in the group the New York State Controller. You could call him too, because he has to give the decision yay or nay. And hopefully, brother Ken, we got to bring you on, brother. He said this is the man that needs to be contacted. The New York State Controller controls Horne's disability pension. All right, so not only we call them in the outrage of their acts, but to get her money, please. New York State, the New York State Controller, 518-474-4044. That's the number we have to. That's the number we have to call to pressure them to get her money that is well deserved. She should definitely get her money, and that's why we're here today to discuss it, and so people can share this story. Please call the New York State Controller Controller, um, Cariol.
That's the bottom line, is that I need my pension.
Oh, absolutely,
Hmm.
is in his hands. So, so we put it in the group. And is anything you would like to tell the listeners? Um, any last comments you want to say for all the listeners that are watching?
Well, for any officers that are on the job, black officers, it's like just don't stand up to the systemic racism. Quit looking at our people as dollar signs and just try to help them. You're in a position to help. Um, but if you are just looking at people as a dollar sign, then you're just part of the problem. So hopefully we can change that culture.
Yes, that's it. Right. It ain't about just working some overtime. It's
Right.
about protecting.
Don't let people abuse people.
That's right. That's right. That's what we were there for. That's what the black community fought for us to get these jobs. People think they just got the jobs, like they just allowed black people to be in law enforcement just because they were nice. You know, they
No,
allowed
they
us
hire us because
exactly.
they were officers from the 70s that filed a lawsuit in order for us to be on. So when I came on, we were one of the first big black classes. When I say black classes, uh, a group of black officers, but there was one before us in 87. I believe it was 87, 86 or 87. Then I came on in 88. So one of the officers that I spoke to said that, you remember the mayor saying that we had to hire you, but we don't have to keep you? I said I didn't remember that, but it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but and it's a shame because these are black. This is this is a black government. I mean, you have a black mayor and a black police commissioner,
And
and black
taking the same mindset.
be in the damn department. That doesn't make any sense. Like this is like that's some real live Negro. You know, I don't even want to say it, but I
Like
mean,
I can get with having people around you to get things done and do things the right way, but when it's wrong, it's wrong.
oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Look, I'm not just saying just hire people and people because they're black, and I'm not saying, just because they're black, allow them to do wrong things. I'm not even saying that. But like you said, wrong is wrong and right is right. You
Exactly.
and to the fact that you was doing your job and that we're black, we should get it, right? We should
Hmm.
because our skin, it doesn't like if he comes down to Westchester County, nobody gives a damn if he's the mayor of Buffalo. They're gonna look at his skin first, and they'll beat his ass in the head, right? A racist white cop in Yonkers will beat his ass in the head and won't think about him being the mayor of Buffalo, New York. That's
Right.
after the fact, and then they'll cover themselves up and bring them up on some type of trumped up charges, and then he would just have to think about you and wishing that Yonkers had a black female like you that will stop him. But the whole thing is this: it doesn't matter. I mean, just do right. Like how
Right.
hard is it just to do right? And I
Right.
don't understand. And that the union should have been sued. I wish I knew you when you was going through this because we would have raised holy hell with that union. And unions, look,
That's
black
it. I
black
could.
officers that are watching this, I mean, there's some unions that do decent justice. But we have to understand the mission statement. You can pull up any union's mission statement, It ain't about protecting officers from racism, retaliation, and bigotry and white supremacy. It ain't about that. It's not in the mission statement.
Mm.
So when you face that on your job, right, you could address it a little bit through policy, but policy doesn't cover enough. That's why usually black officers have to go to EEOC and
I
file
did
different charges
that.
outside.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
did all of that.
did you? Yeah, but you filed it through who?
What do you mean?
Right? Did you?
Here?
Right? You filed it through what? Buffalo government?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just everybody is right. When if look, everybody that's watching, i- if you ever gonna file an EEOC case, file it with the federal government directly.
I
Do not
went there
file
too.
it, do not file it through the EEOC representative of the city of the department. That's a sham, right? Because you have to file it. Take wherever you at in New York, especially if you're in New York or any other place. Go down, take a day off, go down to wherever the EEOC office is, and file it directly with the EEOC. And you get the investigator, you get your case number, you get your investigator, you get the investigator contact, and you'll talk directly to the investigator. Do not allow the EEOC to be done within the municipality or the government you work for. Never do that. That is to me that is a sham. I don't care even if I'm good with whoever running the government. You just never do it because at the end of the day, right, the EEOC will either try to resolve the incident or end up giving you what the information that you give end up giving you the right to sue, and
Mhm.
that's what they don't want. Them giving you the right to sue the department, and because of the fact that you had all your information carry on, and they ended up firing you. What if you'd have directly, most likely they would have just put their hands up and said, you know what, we're just going to give you the right to sue and let the judge rule on it.
I've done all of that though, but like you said, it was I did it through Buffalo. So,
Yeah.
but I also went to the FBI, and
Now,
when I went into the FBI local FBI, when I went into the FBI office, there was the guys from PSD, the guys who screwed me, that came in, and I was like, "What are they doing here? They need to be investigated."
exactly. Exactly. But that,
But
I mean,
funny that
it's
they came in at the same time.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Hmm.
It's definitely unfortunate. But we had. I mean, we look. We just got to make sure right now that there's enough pressure, that people are listening, and people are calling the New York State Controller, to get you your pension. People are calling, the commissioner of Buffalo Police Department, voicing that outrage how they actually treated an officer that did what she was supposed to do. And people are calling the mayor's office, telling his punk behind, shame on you. Um, Shame on you. You're not gonna let it go. And I think, is we're not finished with it. So this is just the beginning.
Thank
And
you.
brother Ken, if you're watching, let's try to get a date where Ken comes on and he talks the legal aspects of what you're trying to do, and the legalities behind it, on what we could do legally to keep this going, and to address these issues. And I'm going to hopefully this week after the new year, I'm going to get on the phone with Sonia Pruitt from the National Black Police Association and see what we could do as black officers to come up there and raise some cane.
I
You know,
appreciate you.
no, I appreciate you. You did the right thing.
Mhm.
And you should never been punished for that. You should never be punished. But at this time, it's 12:30. I gotta take a nap. Not really. So, um, any other thing, any other thing that comes to mind that you want to tell the people that
um, I mean, there's a lot to it, so that's why I'm trying to write this book, but it's hard to write, about something like that, you know. Um, so I've been trying to. I wanted to get it out before Christmas, but that didn't happen. I'm still working on it, so that they can understand the full story and how it affects us today. Because although it happened in '06, it still is relevant today,
hmm
and it should have been taken care of then, and we could have been moving forward to make change. Just changing the faces to black faces does not change the culture. So, we need to make sure that moving forward that we don't have this happen again.
That's
And
right.
that's what I plan on doing with you and the squad.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
All right, Carol. Thank you for coming.
And thank you.
Enjoy your new year. Have a happy new year, and with you and your family, and let's make 2020 a better year. Let's move
Yep.
forward and make some changes in 2020.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you.